out if you're the one carrying it out.
My guess is this would be standard therapy delivered in the outpatient or inpatient setting. I'm not sure what, depending on resource limitations.
Yes.
But maybe control would be like oxygen therapy
Okay.
or something like that.
Okay. So, okay. So that's the title, and that's your probably essentially it happened that way. Okay. So now let's move on to the next thing. You looked at the title, now you look at the investigators. And I think we talked about investigators. Investigators need to be qualified. They need to be qualified to do that study. And remember when I talk about qual and qual? Yes. If somebody says they are a qual, you look at their CV to see whether they have done anything in qual. If they say they are qual, if they are mixed method, you look at their CV. If they're doing something in malaria, you see whether they've done anything in malaria. That kind of thing. And now these days they are teams. Yeah. So I think investigator is quite straightforward. For the investigator, you have to tell, because they're responsible for the staff. They're responsible for reporting things like adverse events, reporting things like deviations and monitoring, all those things they're responsible. So that is it. The abstract. The abstract is a summary of what the whole study is about. It's a bird's eye view. It should talk about the purpose. It should talk about the population. It should talk about the procedure. It should talk about, yes, somebody there does not understand what an abstract is. You can see from my cartoon. Yeah? So I hope you're not going to be like the people in my cartoon. Yeah? So, in Cambridge, we have another one called a lay summary for the sake of the lay person. So you have the abstract, you can be full of all your jargon, but your lay summary needs to be very simple so that anybody can read it. And interestingly enough, most of us, even those of us who go to school for a long time, we prefer to read the lay summary. Yeah, everybody prefers to read something simplified. That's why the newspaper is not in jargon. Yeah, and anybody from the highest professor to the person who's cleaning the shoes, all read the newspaper and are happy because it's been done in the simplest English possible. So that is the abstract. And generally, an abstract must have these elements: what is known, what is not known, the aim of the study site, the methods that we use in the study design can come a bit, sometimes we put in the wrong order, and then why it is being done. So we're not reading this. All I was trying to show you in those colors is that when you're looking at an abstract, that is what you're looking for. What is known, what is not known, the aim, the study site, the methods, the study design, which can come after, could be before the methods, and then why it is being done. Very important. Why it is being done is very important. Remember that one title I said, you read it and then you ask yourself, I wonder why they're doing this. To what? Yes. So you need to always answer the question, why. The lay summary also should have the same, and I just got this lay summary, and it did have it all. So if you have a lay summary or an abstract which is missing one of those things that I mentioned, and you get the slides, you can call it out. You can say, I do not see your expected outcome in your abstract, right? And it's actually quite a serious thing when abstracts do not reflect what's in the study, because maybe the person who wrote the abstract and the person who wrote the study are not in the same. So you need to kind of check to make sure that it actually reflects the study. I would have given you a summary of a good example of a lay summary, but I'm being told I'm going very slowly, so let me move on. Then the background, and this is the section that describes, that gives you context about your study. So you want to study something in diabetes, but now you generally talk about diabetes, the background. We'll talk about Jogoria, how much prevalence there is here. We'll talk about what you see. It's a background. It's not the same as a literature review. A literature review goes into much greater detail. Now at Cambridge, we are a research institution, so we don't often have studies that have the chapter 2 of literature review. We just have the background and we go into our methods. Because these are just members of Cambridge scientists who are doing research, not for the purpose of